Hello, everyone. It's time for another Tom and Shane podcast, and we're happy to have you along with us. Thank you very much for joining us. And today we're going to talk about something dear and to all of our hearts. Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! We are going to talk about what happens if you're audited by the IRS. What happens if the IRS comes calling? Yeah, that's not a good sign. And I don't know if any of you have been audited before. I have been several times. So, I'm no stranger to sitting down with the IRS and battling it out with them. And so it's a fun time. So we want to talk about that today. What happens if you're audited by the IRS, your small business, or, even yourself personally? So that's what we're going to get into today. And we need to start off with what exactly is a tax audit. Many of you probably have heard the term, but it might be, I'm not sure what an audit actually is. Well, when you file your tax return, the IRS looks at it and they're looking for what they call red flags. They're looking for deductions that aren't allowable. They're looking for unusual contributions, things like that, all sorts of things that will trigger an audit. And so it depends on what you what you put on your tax returns. Now there's all kinds of allowances, deductions, all sorts of things like that. When I was a public speaker, I used to speak all over the country, and I thought, I ought to be able to deduct my suits because they're a uniform that I use when I do my talks. And the IRS says, no, thank you. That's it's not a uniform. If I was a pilot, yes, I could deduct my uniforms, dry cleaning, all of that, because it's a required uniform for my employment. But no, there are certain things that that you can't take off of your taxes. So, does an audit automatically mean that you're going to owe the IRS anything? Well, in my case, I was audited 3 times. One was a wash, or if you're east of the Mississippi, a wash. And the other one was one I broke even, and the other one I owed a little bit, about $70 or something like that. So, I have been through it. Doesn't automatically mean that you owe the IRS anything. If you kept good records and all of that, should be no problem whatsoever. So that is the thing. Don't panic just because you receive something from the IRS that says they want to talk to you about your taxes. Doesn't automatically mean that you're going to owe big bucks, or they found, unless you put a whole bunch of stuff down that they're not going to allow. But in most cases, I think if you've done your taxes correctly or had them done by a competent tax organization or whatever, then it should be fine. So, next part we want to talk about is how do you reduce the chances of being audited? Well, that's easy. Well, the first one is make sure you file your taxes. That's the big one. If you haven't filed your taxes for a year or more, you're eventually begging the IRS to audit you because they're thinking, well, why hasn't this person filed taxes for 2 or 3 or 4 years or whatever? You also need to record every payment, everything that you make, keep receipts for, especially if you're self-employed. Your income is a big piece of what makes you auditable. So if your income is significantly lower or higher than the average household, it will increase your chances of being audited. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't make money. Absolutely, of course you can. That's why we're a free market system. But check your deductions. If you made significant charitable contributions, you're eligible for some deductions, but not all. The IRS will cut you off on a certain number of deductions. And there's also something called the alternative minimum tax, so that they will look at what you reported, what the minimum tax requirement would be, and they may hold you to one or the other, which means you may pay or you might get a refund. So, but anyway, check your deductions. Think of every receipt as being worth about $29, because that's about what it boils down to. $29 per receipt. So keep those. Spotless records. Keep track of your travel. Keep track of your meetings with people. Keep an appointment book, or keep it on your phone or wherever, and make sure that you are always in touch with what you're doing. So it's very important that you keep all these deductions. Everything should be accounted for. All of your receipts, everything. Keep all these together and take them. I do it monthly. I get all my receipts together, make an Excel spreadsheet, put it in, and you're done. And also go through your credit card statements. If you use credit cards to pay for bills or things like that, business expenses, then make sure that you transfer those off the credit card statement into the spreadsheet, either on your computer or manually. However you do it is fine, but make sure that you do it. So those are the chances. So there's three kinds of audits that you might be exposed to. The first one is a mail audit. Now, these are most typical and the least invasive kind. They may be limited to a question from the IRS about a specific deduction or a charitable gift or something like that. And all you need to do is make copies of your records for those donations or gifts or whatever they are and send them in. The second type of audit you'll get is the office audit. Easy for me to say. During an office audit, the IRS will ask you to visit them at their offices, and they may ask you to bring certain files. Now, this is the one that I always did. I went with my CPA. That's one of the perks of having a CPA, is they will go with you and debate the IRS on what's deductible and what's not. And sometimes they are able to convince the person that the deduction is legitimate, and in some cases, maybe not. And the last one is a field audit. If something from your records looks suspicious, the IRS may send someone to your home or your business to look things over, to make sure that you did put an extension on your business, or make sure that your home office is truly an office or truly used as an office. So they may have things like that. So, but don't panic. You can always justify this. I had a home office for a number of years, and that was one of the things that got me audited. Was back in the day when the internet was first starting, and I was one of the people that had an early internet business of selling books and speaking and all of that. So there were various things that I was selling online, and a lot of people weren't doing that at that time. So that's how I got the red flag from them, so to speak. But luckily, using a CPA and everything, when they see that signature at the bottom, sometimes that will say, well, at least the guy went to a legitimate tax preparer, and it would really have to be a major red flag now for me to have an audit. So, all right, next we've got to talk about how to prepare an audit, how to prepare for an audit. In this case, you're going to need to assemble all the things that you took to the tax attorney or to your CPA or whoever files your taxes. Or if you filed your taxes yourself, then you're going to have to be able to prove the things that you put on your tax return. They are either good or bad or otherwise. And you need to assemble all of that together, all your receipts together, all your payments together, all your meetings together, your appointment book, all of that, your travel, gas allowances, everything to go in and prepare for that audit. Now, you can contact the IRS and find out what specifically they're looking at, and you can make sure that you bring the proper documentation for that particular problem. And if that is all they need, then that may do the job. So it should be a quick, easy in and out if you've kept good records and kept your, all of your records up to date and correct, and you've got documentation of everything that you've done, all your receipts, suppliers, clients, customers, whatever, and have all that together. But checking with the IRS and asking if there are items they particularly need is what you would start with. So let's go there. So, all right, last word on an audit. As I mentioned at the very beginning, don't panic. Just because you're audited doesn't mean it's the end of the world. You're not going to lose your home or your business or whatever. Normally, you can make a deal with the IRS. If you owe significant amounts of money, you can do what is called an offer in compromise, that you can make monthly payments to them. If there's some kind of a discrepancy that turns into big bucks for some reason, that is always possible. So, you can look up on the IRS code, offer in compromise. And in many cases, that's what the people who pay to, deal with the IRS do. They'll just create an offer in compromise that you can do yourself. And I've done one. And you say, okay, I can afford to pay X number of dollars a month toward this tax bill. And they will either accept that or they won't, or you guys can compromise somewhere in the middle. So they want their money, but they also, they'd rather get the money than send you to jail. But, with certain people, I don't know. Wesley Snipes end up in jail. Willie Nelson doesn't. So I don't know. You figure it out. So all right. So anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this. Hey, don't forget, we're on radio tomorrow, Shane and I. Shane was busy today, so we just did this with me alone. But hey, don't forget to subscribe, ring the notification bell, and like us, and leave a comment. They like all that stuff. Also, we're on Patreon. You can, if you're a business owner, we have lots of benefits for you to support this channel. Personal interaction with Shane and myself, business help, questions, anything we can do to help you, we certainly will. And so that's in the description below. And also, don't forget our website, tomandshane.com. We are over there. And of course, we are also on radio, and we are on radio tomorrow. We'll be on Saturday from 8 to 11. You can listen to us anywhere in the world at kmmsam.com, kmmsam.com. And no information needed, nothing to sign up for, nothing to join, nothing to put anything on. You don't need any... You don't need anything. You just come over and listen. You can call us. You can text us. You can do all kinds of things like that. If you missed any of our podcasts or any of our radio shows, they're all at kmmsam.com as well. Click on Tom and Shane's podcast, and they'll take you right over there to it. And you can pick and choose whatever shows or podcasts you want to explore. So, all right, that's going to wrap it up. And we'll see you on the radio tomorrow at 8 a.m. Mountain Time, kmmsam.com. Bye for now.